Hey y'all, and welcome to episode 5 of the Basics of Building an FTC Robot, presented by 17097 Protostars. Last episode, we talked about how to pick out parts for your robot. We covered Go Build a Kit components, servo and motor mounts, cables, and other things that are essential for physically building your robot. But this episode, we're going in a different direction. Today, I'm going to pass you off to one of my teammates, Harrison. Harrison is on our build team, and he has also been a driver in previous seasons. He enjoys CAD, and he's also very good at it. He has been part of the designing process on many parts of our previous robots. So without further ado, let's meet Harrison. Hey Harrison, passing them off to you.
Hello everyone, and my name is Harrison, and I will be walking you through the basics of using CAD, also known as computer-aided design. Along with the basics of CAD, we will go over some of the CAD softwares that other teams use. Once we have gone over what software is the best for you and what slicer you should use, we'll go over what is the best 3D printer for you to use and how to get the files of a 3D design to a printer. Finally, we will discuss the actual 3D printing process. Now let's dive in. Firstly, there are many different CAD softwares that FTC teams use designing their custom parts. The first software which our team personally uses is Autodesk Inventor Professional. While this is the most expensive option we are going to go over, anyone in an educational environment, whether a student or a teacher, can obtain an education license to get Inventor free. This license is available all the way from high school to college. The next software is Autodesk Fusion 360. Again, this requires payment to use, but you can obtain it the same way as Inventor with an educational license. The last software we have seen other teams use is TinkerCAD. This is a free browser-based CAD software that doesn't require any payment. However, it is very limited compared to Inventor and Fusion 360. You can really only make simple shapes like blocks, holes, screws, and spheres. When you open Inventor, you'll start by pressing the New button. When you select that, a menu will pop up. It will have many options, but what you want to focus on is in the two categories, Part or Assembly. In most scenarios, you will use Part. So let's select Standard Part IPT. And then Create. It's loading. This will open an empty workspace. To start a project, you select Start a 2D Sketch in the top left corner. In the workspace, 3 planes will appear that you can choose to work off. It does not matter which one you choose. Once you have chosen the plane you would like to work on, you can begin your sketch. Hello, so today we will be making a mount for this battery that will be going on the robot that we are using for this season to go through our whole process that we go through in a season. And it's nothing special, so let's get started. So I will be using calipers to get our measurements so we have the correct dimensions so hopefully we don't mess up the print. So I will be opening a new 2D sketch, and then we'll grab the calipers and open them. And then, oh my. So we'll take these here and leave some wiggle room so it can still slide in and out. Okay. So right here we have 113.30 millimeters. So what we'll do is we'll click rectangle here, and then we'll just select it on the midpoint. It doesn't matter where you do it. And then on one of them, you'll want to do 113.3. You can add the O if you want, and then click tab and leave it there for a second because we now have to measure the next direction. So if we take that, you'll want to probably do the widest spot so you can fit it in correct. So it'll fit, and that'll be about 90.8 or 90.18 millimeters. So on the next tab you have right here, you'll put that in, so 90.18, and now you can click enter and it'll give you your shape right here. And so we can see that shape roughly looks like the battery a little bit. So we're going to click this offset tool here, and what the offset tool does is it makes a kind of, it dilates the current shape you have, so you can bring that whole shape out or in from the original shape. So if we take that and we click this rectangle here, it'll go in or out, and so we're going to do that about 4 millimeters. So we can just click 4 and hit enter. And now we have the shape here. And so we're going to want one like spot where we don't want it. So I'm going to grab the line tool here, which just draws a line, and bring it here to this line, and one here. And then we can hit exit to close out of that, and you're going to click trim, which will delete just that line there. So we can get rid of that, that, and that. So now, finish 2D sketch. Zoom out. And then, so we click extrude. Okay, so I will click the extrude button to extrude these outer shapes to make a wall for the battery. So I'll take, and we're going to need the calipers again to measure the thickness so we know how big or how wide the wall would be, how tall. But yeah, so we'll measure in on this and then open some space for some room. And I have gotten 25.09 millimeters. So we'll take that and put that in here. 29.09. And then that will create the space here. So now, hopefully the battery should be able to fit in here like this, in this space here. And then we want it so that it's not just some borders around the battery. So we'll add a plane here, or just a plane here and on this side, so there's space there so the battery doesn't just fall out. So we're going to want to click start a 2D sketch, and I'll just click on this plane and we'll start here. I'll move it over and we'll grab the line tool and go from this corner to this corner to fill in. We'll have to go all the way around though, so it creates an actual. So we'll click rectangle, come down to this outside corner so we can fill in the whole area, bring it down to this outside corner, and select, and now this will be a whole plane that we can click finish sketch. We can click extrude, and it'll bring this whole part out. So it will become a 3D object. And we don't need that much space, so we can do 4 millimeters again, maybe 5. And it will bring a physical part there. So now you can see how this is kind of coming together. So we're gonna now make all the holes here so we can easily mount it to pretty much anything we need. So we're gonna click 2D sketch again. We're gonna select this plane. We'll click rectangle, and we're gonna make an object in here so we can offset it and bring it down to this corner. Is it snapping to the corner? There we go. Okay, so now we have an object here, and we can click offset. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a rectangle here. It doesn't matter where, just stick it somewhere. And what we're going to need is 104 by 80. And we'll hit enter. And so then once we got that, I am going to move this a little bit. So we're going to click the move tool. I'm just going to move it into a better spot. Maybe. And I am just going to move it to where, yes, stop. Okay, let's try that again. I'm just going to individually. Okay, I am just going to move this so it's in where all edges are in it at least a little bit. And then we can click done. I'm going to add lines on each of these edges and move it over and stick it here so we only need these two because I've already done all the math. We'll make sure they're all like curved. That one's not. Is that? Neither of these are. Nope, go forward. Okay. What? Okay, add a line. And add a line. There. Okay, so now what we can do is we'll grab the dimensions of these. So we'll click dimension and we can pull them out anywhere. And so what to do, so we want this to be, all these edges to be the same distance. So what we're going to do is, I've already done the thing, but what we do is we take the measurement of this whole line here and subtract this from it, and then that'll get us the space we need for here. And then we divide that by 2 to get the number for this. So what was that number?
4.65.
4.65. And now this space here will be the same as the space here. So we can remove, I'll do that later. And then the here is the same thing. The whole distance here subtracted here to get the space here, divide by 2, which is 5.09. And now the space here is the same as the space here. So now that we're done with those lines, we can, I hope, delete. What?
Just press the delete button.
I have to get rid of the dimensions. Does that work? It does. Okay. So now we have this plane here, so we can add the circles. So now what we're going to do to get the basis down is we're going to click the circle tool, and on each corner we're going to make a 4mm circle. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. So also, just one disclaimer, if you're going to be making this on, like, just because you want to, all of these dimensions here are going to depend on your battery, your screws, and what, like, if you're using kit parts, what, like, the distance between each circle is. Okay. So, once we have all of these corners, okay, hold up. I missed.
Yeah, I was afraid of that.
There's little lines from each thing because these are cut off. So, all you have to do is remove these, which isn't hard. You just gotta click and click. There. So now we have just circles in the corners that should match up with our kit parts. So we're gonna finish the sketch. We're gonna go and extrude, and we're gonna click all of these. So.
Are you having issues?
Yes. I should probably zoom in.
Always?
What? So we're going to click all the circles. And now, so these are all pointing upward and out. So what we got to do is we got to click this, the flipped button, which will bring them the other way. And now these are just holes, so we can click OK. And these are our screw holes now. So now that we got those, we can close up this side. And so I have to start a sketch. So we start a sketch, and I'll click the line tool, and we'll go this inside corner. And then we'll go kind of a triangle. I'll just go anywhere on this line. And then what am I supposed to do?
So, I don't know if you know this, if you track your thing along this line, it'll jump to the midpoint. Okay, it doesn't seem to want to jump to the midpoint.
Yeah, I was supposed to.
Oh, I think did I just see it?
No.
Okay. What was that?
I don't know.
Is it just slowing? Is it just not keeping up? Okay.
I guess not.
Yeah, okay.
Because
so,
it would light up in green.
Okay, so just draw. What I would say do is draw another. Find the dimension of that point to that point.
Oh wait, so I need to draw a line. Do I need to close this up too, so I can
You don't need to draw.
extrude?
You don't need to draw a line. You don't need to draw a line.
Yes, I do, to get this dimension here.
No, you don't. You can just select the point.
Oh. So can I just
Enter.
Control C this?
Just enter, and then draw another line.
From here.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Doesn't matter. Just guess, and then dimension there to there, and select. And now, nope. Then just select the other dimension. Just select it. Perfect. Enter.
I see. Don't we have to close this up now, so add a line here and here so it'll become a shape?
I think it should work. It looks like, because if you highlight that, like if you go over here, see that's a solid line, so you should be okay. If it recognizes that as a line, you should be able to have the right shapes. Okay. Oh wait, are you saying out from, oh, are you saying like fill in this section too? So that it's not that
I didn't think of that, but we
level.
probably do need to do
Yes.
that.
So yeah, do that. Build that in there.
So let's see. So we're doing this whole part here, so I'll have to, yeah, we'll have to do a couple more lines. Here to here. Okay, so now we will extrude all of this, and they're separate for some reason, but that doesn't matter. So we have extrude. We can click this and this, and it will all become one piece. And I'd say 5 millimeters looks fine. So now we have our battery mount, and we can get in easily to access it. Okay. So with our battery here, we have the wires coming out. So we have to create like a little indentation on this piece here, so the wire isn't being stressed like this. So I don't think we need any measurements from there. We can just turn over here, come halfway in, and then what we'll do is, okay, so we're going to start a 2D sketch on here. We'll zoom in a little bit so we can see, and we'll click rectangle, and let's hold up. I am going to quickly do a couple lines to get the midpoint, or no. We can grab the midpoint, hopefully the midpoint should, there we go. I'm going to bring this out about 5 millimeters each way. No, exit. And then another 5 millimeters. That way we give the wire some space. Is that not recording?
It is.
Oh, okay. So there, now we have just some space, and we're going to take a rectangle and put it in there and line it up there, and we can click that, and now we have a whole space here, and can we just extrude this whole rectangle, or do we need to?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, exit. So now we have a rectangle here. We can hit finish sketch, and we should be able to extrude this rectangle, which cuts out this area here and here, and then that'll give us on both sides so we don't have to put the battery in the same way. So we're going to hit extrude, and since we have this whole object here, when we flip it, it will just add this line here. So if we come down to this area, we can click the cut button, and that will just take it all out. Hit enter, and now we have little slots for our cable. So what we're going to do now to get this to an STL, to get to a slicer and inevitably to a printer, is this little drop down menu here with the arrows. We open it and it'll give us a lot of little options. We click 3D print, and then an option will appear, and we can close that, and now we have this. So once we click this, we have to save it, so we'll click yes, and that saves it. Side. We'll just go no
One
space. Ways. Battery mount. I hate this keyboard. Okay, save. So once we have that, we'll get this. We have the file here, and this doesn't really matter, it's just showing it. We can click STL here, and that will save it as an STL. Okay, so once we have that, we can just click save. And now we are done with Inventor. Okay, so now that we're closed out of that, we're gonna bring in Cura. So this is Cura. Stop throwing things! Okay, so this is Cura. With the file that we have saved to our computer, to get it, we click the little folder up here, and this should be same in almost any version of Cura. And then we go to Documents where we have it saved. There's Buffdane.
Buffdane!
We go to 3D Objects, 3D Printed Parts, and then we got our sideways battery mount right here. So STL, open, open. And now we don't want to print it like this because this will have a lot of supports, and that's just a waste of filament. So what we can do, I'd say the best way, since printers can normally print a hole fine without any supports. So we're going to click on the object. We're going to go grab this rotate, and we're going to bring it up. There. And now it'll print up like this, and only thing it really worries about is the holes, but those aren't very hard for a printer. So now that we have this in the orientation we want, we can click slice, and it slices it and brings it into a G-code. Up here you can see all these stuff. This is the layer height. This is like how thick each layer is stacked on top of each other. This is the infill. This is like how it structurally makes parts and makes it so they aren't just a block of just full plastic. So it makes it so it uses less filament, and it's 20%, so it's not that much. This is supports, and supports are, like I said when we had this hanging down, you can't just print off of nothing, like lay something down off of nothing. So you need to have some structure there to go off of. Our computer that we're using does not have an SD card slot, so we have a little adapter. We'll just slide that in. We'll bring it over, and we'll slot it. I think it has to go this way. I was wrong. So we'll slot it into the computer, and the computer's going to open the whole window. So, and if you want, you can preview it to go look. So here's the look, and you can see all the layers, and I'll show you the infill. So here's the infill, all of this little design stuff here, and it'll slowly go up, and then just each of these are the layers. So what we can do is save. So it'll take this amount, and that's how much filament it takes. So we'll save to the removable drive. It'll go, we can eject, and now we can just pull the drive out. So here's our drive. Now let's go get it to the printer. SD card slot, we'll slide this in. Does it go? Which way does it go?
Not like that.
Does it? I always thought it did. Okay, we got that in, and then we'll flip the power switch. It'll power up. Sorting files. Okay, so we'll click this. We want it in black or do we want it in orange?
Black.
Okay then. So we'll hit print from SD card. Click that. And then we're gonna wanna go to our sideways print or our sideways battery mount, and we'll click that. And now it'll heat up the bed. Okay. So now the bed here will heat up so the print stays adhered to the bed, and the nozzle will heat up so it can melt the plastic. So we'll just have to wait a little bit.
A few inches later.